Welcome back to The Grind for a quick video on Howard the Duck with the Odin and War Machine pre-fights. I did just recently pull War Machine and I took him up to rank 4. We're going to get some gameplay with him soon as well, perhaps with the rank 4, but maybe we'll get him up to rank 5 at the next level up event. But with Howard the Duck, you can stack up a ton of Furies. Now, Odin's pre-fights will give him increased potency of those Furies, and War Machine's pre-fights gives him additional attack rating simply for entering the fight, but also based on his armor rating. Now, we also brought along Tigra, which is going to allow us to stack up the Furies all the way up to 70 instead of capping out at 50 like Howard the Duck typically does. So we're going to get some increased Furies from that as well. Now, Howard the Duck is, I would say, an underrated champion. He's actually pretty good, but some people don't like his playstyle where you have to do lots of parries and heavy attacks to stack up the Furies on the parry stun and to stack up the armor breaks with the heavy attacks. But that, along with the fact that he's bleed immune, makes him a pretty suicide-friendly champion, and he gets tons of buffs for buffed up or buff cornucopia in incursions, as well as tons of debuffs, as you can see with the armor breaks, and you can heal block with the armor breaks alone if you have this spare, but he also has a heal block on a special 1, he has a suppression on a special 2, and then you can just throw off his special 3 for some decent damage, as well as a fairly long passive stun, which we're going to do here once we're fully ramped up. But you can see already we're doing about 5% with a heavy attack, and then this next one we're going to crit with a 30,000 damage crit on the last hit, and that does a total of 8% with that one heavy attack. Now we're throwing off the special 3, which has a ton of hits involved in it. It also has, Howard the Duck has a bunch of hits on his special 2 and just on his heavy attack, which are throwing a lot, so it really inflates the hit count. But look at these medium hits now. He almost did 100,000 damage with his special 3, and we're getting 23,000 critical hits with his medium attacks. Now the next clip we're going to go in and we're going to use other special attacks. We're also going to wait to attack a little bit to build up some more Furies to try to reduce the hit count a little bit, but it does end up making the fight a little bit longer, but only about 15 to 20 seconds longer. So at the start of the fight, he's kind of playing a little bit passive, so I'm doing some hits into him to get him to come at me, and then after a short bit here, we're going to focus more on just parrying and building up the Furies. Now, because there's a limit of 70 with the Tigra synergy, it does take some time to build up, and so a lot of players view Howard the Duck as a very ramp up champion that they really don't want to bother with. But you don't have to ramp him up all the way before you start dealing damage, because the damage is pretty nice even at a lower amount of Furies, and you can just continue to build them up throughout the fight while you're doing damage, kind of like we did in the first clip. But now we're going to try to build up as many as we can before we start going into the damage phase. And then we're going to start to throw off special 2s and special 1s just to see what the damage is like on those, if we get some crits, and see if we can get the fights to go a little bit faster. But like I said, it ends up being roughly the same time. So we're getting close to the max armor breaks here as we've started to go into our heavy cycle, and we're getting pretty close to the max 70 of the Furies as well. The damage is already pretty nice from each of these heavies. Look at that, 26,000 crit on that heavy, and pretty soon here we're going to see a heavy attack that does 9% of Winter Soldier's health. That's right here. We're going to throw off this heavy attack, and we're going to get 9% of his health from that one heavy attack, and then we're going to throw off the special 2, and it's going to take 16% of his health from this one special 2, and the first hit does a 29,000 crit, almost 30,000 actually, and several of those hits did some pretty decent damage as well. Now we're going back into the heavy cycle. I think we're going to throw off a special 1 here. I don't think we get lucky with any crits on the special 1s, unfortunately, but like I said, the special 1 is pretty nice for the heal block that you can apply. Now, all of Howard the Duck's debuffs fall off one at a time, so you can stack up a bunch of these debuffs and keep them active a little longer by spamming like the special 1 back to back for more heal block debuffs. Now we're getting close to the end of this fight. I think we're going to see a 24,000 crit on our medium right there. So these 2-minute Winter Soldier takedowns are not the most impressive, but he does have some pretty decent damage and a lot of utility, so an all-around very good champion. And these synergies that we're doing with this fight are also with very good champions that you would not be upset about taking in on a team with you. So I hope you enjoyed this showcase, and I hope to see you in the next video.